One of the claims that is often made against the Christian faith by particularly the Islamic Dawah team is, where does Jesus claim to be God? Where? We're always being asked, why doesn't he say, I am God, worship me? Well, let me just deal with that for a moment. Because we all know that there is cultural imagery that we are all familiar with that allows us to identify the identity of characters without them being stated explicitly. So if I said to you that I wear a blue uniform, carry a baton and a radio, and I have the powers of arrest, who am I saying that I am? Speak up.
Policeman.
Police. If I said to you, I wear camouflage, I drive a tank, and I go to war, what am I saying that I am?
Soldier.
A soldier. If I said to you that I sit in judgment of people, sentencing them to prison, what am I saying that I am?
A judge.
A judge. So there are cultural imageries with which we are familiar that when people use them, it's clear about who they are talking about. Jesus did the same in his own time, to speak about himself. And I'm going to give you some examples. From chapter 24 of Matthew, it says, from verse 29 in chapter 24, but immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will fall from the sky. And the powers of the heavens will be shaken, and then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky, and then all the tribes of the earth will mourn. And they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of the sky with power and great glory, and he will send forth his angels with a great trumpet, and they will gather together his elect from the four winds, one end of the sky to the other. This imagery is borrowing directly from an Old Testament passage in Daniel chapter 7. In which it is spoken by the prophet Daniel, I kept looking in the night visions, and behold, with the clouds of heaven, one like a son of man was coming, and he came up to the Ancient of Days, and was presented before him, and to him was given dominion, glory, and a kingdom, that all the peoples and nations and men of every language might serve him. Now, just so you know, in the Septuagint, which is the second BC translation of the Hebrew, so the oldest thing that we have, the word that we translate might serve him is from the Greek latria, which is the word that is used for divine worship or the worship of God. Might serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which means that it doesn't end, which will not pass away, and his kingdom is one which will not be destroyed. This is a divine figure, and Christ is applying that divine figure to himself. And in Matthew, at his trial, when he is being tried by the high priest, he says, the high priest stood, and this is Matthew 26, verse 62 onwards. The high priest stood up and said to him, do you not answer? What is it that these men are testifying against you? But Jesus kept silent, and the high priest said to him, I adjure you, by the living God, that you tell us whether you are the Christ, the Son of God. Jesus said to him, you have said it yourself. Nevertheless, I tell you, hereafter, you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of power and coming on the clouds of heaven. Then the priest tore his robes and said, he has blasphemed. What further need do we have of witnesses? Behold, you have now heard the blasphemy. What do you think? And they answered, he deserves death. And the reason why he deserves death is because those that call themselves God, those that blaspheme against God, as you will find in Numbers 14 verse 6, are to be killed. And the Son of Man by the prophet Daniel is a divine figure. It's not blasphemy to claim to be the Messiah. There were Jews claiming to be the Messiah before Jesus. There were Jews claiming to be the Messiah at the time of Jesus, and there were Jews claiming to be the Messiah after Jesus, and we don't have many accounts of those people being killed for blasphemy. So what was the blasphemy? The blasphemy is that Christ takes two Old Testament images and puts them together. The imagery in Psalm 110 and the imagery of Daniel 7. These are Old Testament cultural images that every Jew was familiar with that describe a divine figure. And Jesus was claiming to be that divine figure, which means that Jesus was claiming to be God. Any questions?